Good morning, all of you. In this session, we are going to discuss about CSIR Chemical Science June 2019 Part C. We are going to upload only 10 questions of Set A. CSIR Chemical Science June 2019 Part C. This entire solved question paper we are going to practice, but in each and every lecture we are going to give 10 questions only, because it is becoming very lengthy, and this is uploaded in World of Competitive Chemistry, right? So this is the name of the channel where we are uploading all these. CSIR Chemical Science June 2019 Part C of Set A. So let us enter into this question paper. In this, the first question will be correct statement about ruthenium-6 CCO taken 17. This is a cluster compound. In this cluster compound, what are the correct statements from this following? Okay, we have to find out the exact correct answer for this ruthenium-6 carbon CO taken 17 cluster structure. So it is an 86 electron cluster. In this, 86 electrons will be there. That is one statement. And second is, it is a closed structure type. Closed structure will be there, and shape will be capped square pyramidal. Carbon interacts with all the ruthenium centers in the cluster. Okay. In this, we have 6 ruthenium atoms. So let us see the structure first so that some of the points will be clarified. It is the structure of ruthenium complex where all the corners, so here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 ruthenium atoms are present in regular octahedral structure, and the central atom will be carbon. So this is the entire structure of ruthenium cluster complex, and where each ruthenium is surrounded by carbonyl functional groups in their terminal center. This is about the entire structural representation. From this, we understood that it is the kind of octahedral, and the carbon is in the interaction with all 6 ruthenium atoms. So let us see which statements are satisfying. Carbon interacts with all ruthenium centers in the cluster is the right answer. It is the capped square pyramidal structure will not match, because being it is the octahedral complex, all 6 ruthenium are occupying that regular octahedron corners. So statement C is wrong one. Wherever statement C is there, that will be discarded. Option number 1 and option number 3 will be discarded. There is a possibility of 2 and 4. Let us go one by one. This cluster will be 86 electron complex. Let us see how it is possible. Ruthenium 6C CO taken 17 is a octahedral one, and it obeys N+1 formula. How it obeys N+1 formula and how it will be 86 electron system, we will discuss. Total valency electrons will be counted by taking the sum of all the elements present in the cluster. In this complex, we have 6 ruthenium, 6 into valency electrons present in the ruthenium, plus 1 into carbon atom valency, plus 17 carbonyl groups are there. So by summing all these, we can find out total valency electron count. 6 into ruthenium. Each ruthenium is contributing 8 valency electrons. 6 into 8 plus 1 into carbon is giving 4 electrons. 1 into 4 plus 17 into CO. Carbonyl group is contributing 2 electrons. Now, when we substitute all these values, 48 plus 4 plus 34, it will be 54 plus 34, 86 electron system. So statement 1 is satisfied for this question. So 86 electron system, option number A is satisfying. A is present in 1, A is present in 4 also. Now let us move on to whether it is closed or not. So let us see whether the complex is closed structure or not. In order to find out closed structure, we have two alternative methods. Either it should obey 14n plus 2 electron system, otherwise 12 into n minus total valency electrons by 2. Either of the formula should be satisfied by this complex. Let us go one by one. In case of 14n plus 2 formula, otherwise 4n plus 2 formula, it will become Closio. 14n plus 4, otherwise 4n plus 4 is called Nido. 14n plus 6 or 4n plus 6 is called Arachno, right? So let us substitute 14n plus 2 in the sense 14 into number of metals present in the cluster will be 6. For this ruthenium, 6 ruthenium atoms are there. 14 into 6 plus 2, it will become 84. 84 plus 2, 86. Hence, you can say it is a Closio structure. So it is satisfying Closio. Alternatively, this Closio Nido-Arachno also calculated by taking total valency electron, skeletal electron count it is. So by this, you can take skeletal electron count. Skeletal electron count is equal to 12 into n minus total valency electrons by 2. 12 into n. N is a valency of metal atoms present. 12 into 6 minus 86 by 2. Total valency electrons are 86, we know, right? Now it becomes 14 by 2, 7. So skeletal electron count will be 7. Then 7 is nothing but it is matching with n plus 1 formula, where n stands for number of metal atoms present in the cluster. Number of metal atoms are 6. 6 plus 1, it is matching with this skeletal electron count. So if n plus 1 is there, you can say it is Closio. N plus 2 is known as Nido. N plus 3 is called Arachno. That's the reason why here this is the kind of Closio. This is a kind of Closio. 86 electron cluster will be there. Closio structure will be there. It is the octahedral structure, and the carbon is interacting with all ruthenium atoms. So except C, remaining all are correct statements with respect to ruthenium. Hence, it is A, B, D. Option number 4 is the right answer for this question. Now let us move on to question number 62. In the question number 62, we are taking iron neta 5 C5H5 CH3 CO taken twice complex. Okay, here we have neta 5. Neta 5 stands for number of electrons released by this species. Neta 5 means 5 electrons released. Neta 3 means 3 electrons. Neta 1 means 1 electron. In this way, iron neta 5 C5H5 CH3CO taken twice is the complex. It is treated with PPH3 triphenyl phosphine. Whenever triphenyl phosphine is treated, it involved in the reaction leads to form FeN neta 5 C5H5 C double bond O CH3. This became acetyl group. C double bond O CH3 is called acetyl, and carbonyl PPH3 will be added. So this is the reactant added with triphenyl phosphine, and the product formation is possible. During the reaction, what will be the intermediate formed in this reaction? Now we are going to see intermediate formed in this reaction. For that purpose, let us move on to its mechanism. Whenever iron is in contact with cyclopentadienyl anion, which is called Cp, and iron is in contact with COCH3, it is the kind of 18 electron system where 18 electrons are present in this molecule, right? So 18 electron system is there. Whenever 18 electron system is involved in migratory insertion, methyl group will be shifted from this iron to carbonyl. So this is a kind of 1-1 migration. So one atom that is iron, another atom that is carbonyl. So 1-1 migration is possible. So 1-to-1 migration is possible, so that from iron, a methyl is shifted to carbonyl, so that you experience one vacant site. One vacant site will be generated. Now it becomes 16 electron. So this vacant site having tendency to gain electron pair in order to reach 18 electron system. So that's why it is in reaction with PPH3, so that here you will get PPH3 on this iron. So this will be the 18 electron complex which is generated as the final product. So the intermediate compound will be iron. One side ion in either carbonyl and acetyl groups are there and vacant site. So let us see which is matching with this one. Here CO, CH3, PH3, this is not possible. CO, CO, CH3, PH3. PH3 will not be attached in the step 1. After generating one vacant site, then attachment of triphenyl phosphine is possible. Option number 3 is exactly matching with the intermediate compound whatever formed here. That's why correct answer will be option number 3. And the next question, 63. In the synthetic polydimethylsiloxane, the chain forming, branching, and terminating agents respectively, whenever we are considering any kind of polymerization, if the starting material is bifunctional, the possibility will be linear. Linear chain will be generated. If it is trifunctional, we will get chain branching. If it is tetrafunctional, cross-linked polymer is possible. So 3-dimensional cross-linked polymer will be generated. If we are having only one functional group on that, which can be considered as a monofunctional. Monofunctional can combine with any other one monomeric unit only. That's why only dimerization can be possible. In this way, so functionality is nothing but number of active functional groups present on its terminal center where the chemical reactions are applicable. So in order to reach this chain polymerization, only straight chain will be generated by taking bifunctional. Me2SiCl2 is the bifunctional. Me2SiCl2 is the bifunctional. Me2SiCl2. Option number 1, 2, and 4 satisfying chain forming. Now, option number 3 will be discarded. Now let us move on to second one, that is called branching. In order to get branching, at least it should contain 3 functional groups on its surface. When we take this one, Me3SiCl is monofunctional, which will not applicable. MeSiCl3, it is the trifunctional. MeSiCl3, it is also trifunctional. Option number 2 or 4 are matching with this branching. Now let us move on to third statement, terminating. Means where the reaction should be completed. For that purpose, we have to take monofunctional. Here you can observe trimethyl chloride in case of option number 2, tetramethylsilane in option number 4. Option number 4 not at all having any functional group. So only the suitable answer will be option number 2. Bifunctional gives linear, trifunctional gives branching, monofunctional gives termination or completion of the reaction. That's why option number 2 is the right statement for 63. Now, let us move on to this next question. The set among the following in which all numbers are magic numbers of nucleons. Magic numbers are nothing but because of its completeness of nucleons, it will become exceptionally stable. The type of compounds are called magic numbers. Magic numbers are having completely filled either protons or neutrons in its outer shell, right? So there are certain elements which are considered as the magic numbers. Helium is completely filled. Oxygen 8 also having such a nature. 20 calcium is a magic number. 28 nickel, 82 lead, and 126 by helium. So this element 8 to be invented. So these are called magic numbers. So among all the given options, 20, 28, 50, 126, 50 element is not there. Then 24, 20, 82, 126. Actually, it should be 20. I think it is a print mistake. So option number 2 having same kind of magic number elements in this given series. 20, 50, 80, 184. Here 50 should not be there. 28, 50, 80 to 180. Here also 50 and 180 should not be there. Then correct option, most probable option will be option number 2 only. For 64, option number 2 is the right answer. Magic number stands for whenever that given compound having nucleons, that nucleons are filled in complete shells. Okay, so option number 2 is satisfying the statement. Now, the question number 67, incorrect statement for amperometric titration. Amperometric titration is a kind of analytical method where we can replace conventional titration method by amperometry in order to get the accurate equivalent point readings, where you can observe what completion of the reaction with the support of power generation within the reaction. By using conventional electrical power, by using amperes, it is possible to carry the chemical reaction, and so that we can identify where the reaction got completed. That is called amperometry. From these statements, we have to pick out incorrect one. It is based on the measurement of diffusion current. DC current will be applied in the amperometric titrations. Its sensitivity is always higher than spectroscopic methods. It is the wrong statement, because for this amperometry, sensitivity will be lower when compared with spectrophotometric method. Spectrophotometric methods are highly sensitive. Sensitivity will be very large compared to amperometry. So this is wrong statement. Obviously, any analytical method, either conductometry, potentiometry, amperometry we are considering, indicator is not at all required. Instead, we will obtain the equivalent point by plotting the graph. So that's why it is also right answer. And in order to carry this amperometry, in order to avoid the deviation from the exact readings, the entire titration equipment should be covered with inert atmosphere by bubbling nitrogen gas or argon. So this is also right statement. Only the incorrect one is sensitivity is higher than those of spectrophotometric titrations. Option number 2 is not satisfying. Remaining 1, 3, 4 are correct answers for this amperometric titrations. Now let us move on to next question. Consider the following statements with respect to cytochrome P450. Cytochrome P450 is a kind of enzyme type of material which is present in the living organisms. Certain functions will be there for cytochrome P450. Now let us see what are the given statements which are matching with this cytochrome P450 or not. It has histidine coordinated to iron center. But whenever we see the structure of this a cytochrome P450, central iron is of +3 oxidation state surrounded with 4 porphyrin rings in the regular what kind? Square planar type of structure, and these porphyrin rings are attached with these two are called vinyl, these two are called propionic acid moieties, and 4 methyl groups also present. There is a extended conjugation will be there in this entire structure. Conjugation will be present in this structure. So this is about the entire structure of cytochrome P450. When you observe this, these are called porphyrin rings. Pyrrole rings are present, but not histidine. So option number 1 is not matching. It is a membrane bound metalloenzyme. Yes, it is the membrane bound metalloenzyme. Where it is binding? This enzyme is binding with inner membrane of mitochondria. That's why mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. So it used to generate the energy within the human organisms or any living organisms. So this cytochrome P450 is bounded with metalloenzyme, bounded with mitochondria membrane, right? So this statement is the correct one. Fe+3 ion in the resting state, it has Fe+3 ion in the resting state. Whenever we consider cytochrome P450, iron is in Fe+3 state. So it is also right answer. The correct options are option number B and option number C. Here you can see correct answer is option number 3. B, C will be the suitable answers for cytochrome P450. It is a porphyrin ring system, but not imidazole system, right? Consider the following transformations in the coenzyme B12. Coenzyme B12 is the bioenzyme which is secreted in the human beings. And what are the activities, what are the functions of coenzyme B12? Let us observe and given statements whether matching with that one or not. 1,2 carbon shift. So this reaction is possible for coenzyme B12. Hydration of carbon dioxide is not possible because in order to hydrate carbon dioxide, we need carbonic anhydrase. Benzene to phenol. This transformation is also not performed by coenzyme B12. Dimethyl sulfide to dimethyl sulfoxide. This is a kind of oxidation. This is also not performed by this coenzyme B12. Let us see what are the functions and these reactions are carried by which kind of enzymes. Now, when we see this coenzyme B12 is a very important catalyst in 1,2 shift. Whenever we take the functional groups which are present in first and second carbon atom, in the presence of coenzyme B12, these two functional groups will be interchanged. This is a kind of 1,2 shift. This is a kind of 1,2 shift. Here also you can observe when we are taking first carbon is hydrogen attached with hydrogen, second carbon is attached with C double bond COA. When we interchange these two, it will be like this, succinyl coenzyme A, right? So in this way, coenzyme B12 will facilitate 1,2 shift kind of reactions. Reverse reaction means interchange reactions are possible in between first and second carbon atoms. Carrier of methyl group. Coenzyme B12 also serve as a carrier of methyl group. It used to carry methyl group from one organism to another organism. So this is also another additional function of coenzyme B12. But carbonic anhydrase is required in order to hydrate this carbon dioxide, and corresponding carboxylic acid will be generated. So here zinc will facilitate this kind of reaction. Cytochrome P450 involves in the conversion, cytochrome P450 involved in the conversion of benzene to phenol. Here, the given option is coenzyme B12, but what is the required substance for this benzene to phenol? Required one is cytochrome P450, any other bioorganism itself, right? It is another catalytic enzyme. So this is required in order to convert benzene to phenol. DMSO or DMSO. So DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide reductase, DMSO, right? So this DMSO reductase is an enzyme which used to convert sulfide into sulfoxide, where oxygen will be added, right? So this is an enzyme suitable for the conversion. DMSO reductase is a suitable enzyme for the conversion of sulfide into sulfoxide. That's why only the given statement which is correct is 4, option number 4. So correct answer is 4, where 4 is saying that A only, right? So that is 1,2 carbon shift is facilitated by this coenzyme B12, right? This is only the right answer. Now let us move on to next question 68. Correct statement regarding boron atom among the following. Boron is B11 and B10. Two isotopic species will be there. Nuclear spin of B11 and nuclear spin of B10 are compared. Nuclear spin of B11 is greater than that of B10. This is the one statement. Polarities of BH and CH are opposite in nature. And the next one is cross section of neutron absorption B10 is much more than that of B11. Boron with boiling aqueous sodium hydroxide NaBOH taken 4 will be formed. Right. Whenever we consider nuclear spin of B11 and B10, here nuclear spins of B11 is 3/2, B10 is 3. Means B10 is higher, right? B10 is higher than B11. But what they are saying, nuclear spin of B11 is higher. This is the wrong statement. Okay. So option number 1 containing options will be discarded. Only 2 will be discarded. There is a possibility of 1, 3 and 4. Now, let us move on to next statement, polarities of BH and CH. When we consider BH, boron is electronegativity of boron is 2, hydrogen is 2.1, carbon is 2.5, hydrogen is 2.1. That's why in general, in the broad sense, we can consider both are the covalent compounds only, but extent of polarity is more in CH bond when compared to BH bond. BH bond, electronegativity difference is very less, hence it is a non-polar bond. It is almost all covalent equal sharing because of electronegativity similarity. But whereas carbon hydrogen bond is there, in general we can say it is the covalent bond only, but compared to this one here, some extent the polarity will be there. Hence, we can say polarities of BH and CH will be opposite. Both are not exactly same. Cross section of neutron absorption of B10 is much more than boron 11 isotope. Let us consider this cross section of neutron absorption. Whenever neutron is absorbed, this cross section coefficient of B10 is given as 3837. B11 when considered, it is B11, sorry. When B11 considered, what is the answer? For this B11, the answer will be 0.005 plus or minus 0.003 barns. It is the right statement, whichever provided in the statement. B10 having extremely larger 3000 around. B11 that is infinitesimal value, we can say 0.005. So option number C is also satisfied. It is the also right statement. Boron reacts with boiling aqueous sodium hydroxide to give the corresponding product. The product will be NaBOH taken 4. Whenever we are considering boron on treatment with sodium hydroxide, product will be Na3BO3, right? So Na3BO3 will be formed. So this is not matching with the given answer. So the correct answers will be option number 2 and option number 3. That's why correct answer will be for 68th question. 1 is the correct answer. It's clear, right? And the next question, let us move on to 69th one. Choose the correct statement among the following. Among the given statements, we have to go with which one is the correct answer. Lithium fluoride is more soluble than lithium ClO4 in the water. According to Fossen's rule, lithium fluoride is the smallest molecule. Lithium ClO4 is the largest molecule. Whenever size is smaller, what happens? The nature will be more covalent. As we are moving down from top to bottom in the periodic table in a group, what happens? Size will be enlarged, and there is a possibility of ionic nature when we are taking cation, right? So that's the reason why. So here lithium will be there. It is bounded with fluorine, and here it is ClO4. So lithium fluoride is purely ionic compound. purely covalent compound in accordance with Poisson rule. That's a reason why whenever covalent nature is there, solubility will be extremely low. Lithium ClO4 is ionic substance. It is dissociated into Li plus ClO4 minus. That's why it will be more soluble compared to lithium fluoride. Even though it is polar, but we can say the nature will be covalent. Polar covalent bond it will be. Here it will be ionic. Hence, solubility is more for the second compound rather than compound number 1. So, option number 1 containing answers will be eliminated. And the second option, the standard reduction potential of lithium is more negative than sodium. This is purely explained by electrochemical series. Whenever electrochemical series is considered, we are moving from top to bottom. Lithium is the metal which is in topmost place, having higher oxidation potential. Whenever it is represented in E0 values of reduction, it is represented as more negative value. So because it is in topmost place, more tendency to lose the electrons. That's why more will be the negative value of E0 when compared to sodium, because sodium is a presiding element which is present just below than this lithium. That's why this is the right statement. The heat of hydration of lithium plus is greater than sodium plus. This is also correct answer. Let us see what is the reason here. When we are taking alkali metals, group 1 metals, lithium, what is the series? Hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, and cesium. As we are moving from top to bottom, from lithium to sodium, what happens? Size will be raised. So both are accompanied by monopositive charge. Even though monopositive charge is there, both are not having equal electron density. The reason is lithium is a smaller one, sodium is somewhat larger. That's why in the smaller space, unipositive charge density will be large. In the larger space, positive charge density will be small. That's why lithium having powerful interaction with water molecules. That's the reason why it will release lot of heat during the hydration. It will be accommodated by more number of water molecules. Hence, we can say heat of hydration of lithium is greater than sodium. Let us consider lithium as a cricket ball, sodium as a football. So lithium cricket ball is in smaller size where electron density association will be very large density. Whenever football is taken, that is larger in size where electron density distribution will be less, thickness will be less. So in that way, lithium is powerfully dragging hydration energy, powerfully dragging water molecules, so that most, being it is a exothermic, heat evolved during the hydration will be larger for this lithium. So option number 2 and 3 are the correct answers for this given statements. 69, option number 3 is the correct answer. Right. And the next question, choose the correct statements among the following. The dihedral angle of O to F2, dioxygen difluoride, will be 0. It is not a correct statement. OF2 is generally prepared by fluorine gas and treating with 2% sodium hydroxide. It is the right statement. O2F2 can be readily reduced by H2S. It is also right statement. So let us see how it is possible. O2F2, it is the open book model. It is represented like this. Whenever you consider dihedral angle, it will be 87.5 degrees. This is not 0. Hence, option number 1 will be discarded. Whatever option number 1 will be there, that answers we can discard. First and second answers will not be suitable here. Now let us move on to option number 2. OF2 is prepared from NaOH and fluorine. NaOH and fluorine were treated. OF2, sodium fluoride, water will be generated. That means this statement is the correct answer. Now let us move on to option number 3. O2F2 can be readily reduced by H2S. O2F2, where oxygen is a monopositive, fluorine is a mononegative. Fluorine never exists in the form of positively charged species, being it is the highest electronegative element in the entire periodic table. Hence, we have to assign +1 charge to this oxygen. Whenever +1 charge after the reaction, it is converted into molecular oxygen. Molecular oxygen always retaining zero oxidation state. +1 is converted into zero oxidation state. What happens in the this is carried in the presence of H2S. +1 to 0 in the sense decreasing the oxidation state. +1 converted into 0, lowered. Hence, we can say oxygen reduced in the presence of what? Dihydrogen sulfide. So this statement is also right answer. O2F2 reduced by dihydrogen sulfide. So option number 2 and 3 are the correct statements. This 3 is the right answer for question number 70. So by this, we are going to close this session because we will upload 10 questions only. Thank you. Thank you very much for listening.